It was the kind of night where the fog rolls in thick and heavy, like it's got a secret to keep. I was hauling a load from Missouri to a storage facility in Nevada. The dispatcher said it was old carnival equipment, stuff from a traveling circus that shut down decades ago. The trailer was sealed when I got it, paperwork already signed. No questions asked. The fog started as I crossed into the back roads of Oklahoma. My headlights barely cut through it, and the radio kept cutting in and out. I tried brushing it off, but something in my gut told me this trip was going to be different. The silence from the trailer behind me was eerie, as if the cargo inside was holding its breath. Then, just past midnight, I heard it, a faint tune, a carnival melody, the kind that should bring back childhood memories. But instead, it chilled my spine. It came from the trailer, soft at first, like a music box winding up. I turned off the radio. The music was still playing. I pulled over on a narrow strip of asphalt, swallowed by trees and fog. I stepped out, boots crunching on the wet gravel, and approached the trailer. The tune got louder with every step. The melody was old-school calliope, a wheezing, tinny thing that seemed to come from another time. Unlocking the rear doors, I braced myself, but when I threw them open, there was nothing but shadows. Dust-covered props, clown masks, chipped carousel horses, faded banners reading Mirth and Madness Carnival. Then I saw it. In the center of the trailer was a large mirrored funhouse panel, covered in grime, yet strangely intact. I walked toward it, and the music stopped. Dead silence. I looked into the mirror, and for a moment I thought I saw someone behind me. But when I turned, I was alone. Back inside the cab, I tried to shake it off. Long hauls mess with your head sometimes. I sipped cold coffee and fired up the engine. The moment the truck lurched forward, the music started again. Louder now, more urgent. My eyes darted to the rearview mirror. The trailer rocked slightly. No bumps in the road, no wind, just movement. I checked my side mirror and saw a shadow pass across the trailer's surface. A shadow that didn't belong to anything. Then something happened that still makes my blood run cold. I glanced at the rear view and saw my reflection. Grin. I wasn't grinning. The music became unbearable, warped, frantic. I slammed on the brakes. When I ran to the back again, the trailer doors were already ajar. No wind could have done that. I stepped inside, flashlight trembling in my hand. The mirror now looked alive. Its surface rippled like water, and the grin I saw earlier? Still there, only now the eyes blinked. I staggered back. The music changed tempo, like it was syncing to my heartbeat. Suddenly, the trailer jerked violently. It rolled forward on its own, dragging the cab with it. I barely scrambled back into the driver's seat before it barreled down the foggy road. I wasn't driving anymore. The carnival was. The landscape blurred past, though I don't recall touching the wheel. The GPS glitched out, showing a looping image of a red and white tent. I tried the brakes. Nothing. I honked the horn, screamed out into the fog, and then the road ended. Not with a crash, but with a transition. We rolled onto hard-packed dirt lit by phantom lights. To my horror, a decrepit carnival midway stretched before me, fully formed. Rides, stalls, and tents long since abandoned, now flickering to life. No audience, just silence, except for one sound, laughter. A spotlight appeared, and there he was, standing in the mist, tall top hat, crimson coat, pale, painted face. "Welcome back," he rasped. "We've been waiting." I screamed, reversed the truck, tires kicking up dust. But the midway didn't change. It just extended. The further I backed up, the more carnival appeared behind me. It was like trying to escape a nightmare by running deeper into it. "We go where the carnival wills," he said, now standing beside my window. I never saw him move. The mirror in the trailer started glowing, a light so bright it made the fog shimmer. I opened the trailer once more, drawn by some unseen force. The inside had changed. No props, no dust. It was now an actual funhouse. I stepped inside, and the door slammed shut behind me. My reflection multiplied in twisted panels, some laughing, some weeping, one screaming silently. I ran through the maze, hearing carnival barker voices echo. They told stories about drivers who disappeared, cargo that never reached its destination. They spoke of a pact, a curse. And then I saw him again, the ringmaster. "You're part of the show now." I woke up in the driver's seat. The fog was gone. It was morning, but the trailer felt heavier. I checked the back. Instead of carnival equipment, there were now dozens of large crates, each one labeled with names and dates. Some were fresh, some decades old. I opened one. Inside was a mannequin. No, a person. Preserved, eyes open as if caught mid-scream. My name was on the last crate. I slammed it shut and jumped in the cab. Tried to radio for help. Nothing. Just static and faint laughter in the background. The GPS now read, Eternity 0.0 miles. Every town I passed looked like a painted set. People didn't blink. Some waved, others stared blankly. I tried exiting the highway. The roads looped. I drove for hours but ended up in the same spot. I tried to sleep. Couldn't. My reflection in the side mirror blinked when I didn't. It grinned wider every hour. Sometimes I see other trucks, flickering like mirages. And sometimes I swear I see their drivers banging on the windows, trying to warn me. They're all part of it now. I don't know how long I've been driving. The sun never sets here. The road never ends. Every night the trailer hums with that cursed tune. Every morning I check the crates. There's always one more. I'm not the driver anymore. I'm the cargo. My hands don't obey me. My thoughts echo someone else's laughter. And the mirror? It's not a reflection anymore. It's a window. And someone, or something, is looking back. If you're reading this, don't take any jobs hauling carnival gear. Some roads were never meant to be traveled. I've been hauling freight across the South for nearly 2 decades. Seen all kinds of roads, people, and cargo. But I'll never forget the night I took the job from that small-town dispatcher in rural Alabama. It was a last-minute call, an old logger town called Gray Hollow. They had a refrigerated trailer packed and ready, but no one would take it. "Pays double," the dispatcher mumbled. "Just get it to Baton Rouge by morning." I should have known something was off when the guy wouldn't look me in the eye. The load papers were blank under contents. I figured maybe it was meat or some backdoor deal. I was broke and desperate. I didn't ask questions. When I arrived at the yard, it was eerily quiet. The trailer was hooked up to a small industrial unit that looked like it hadn't seen maintenance in a decade. The lights flickered overhead, casting long shadows across the lot. A group of workers in orange vests stood huddled near the building watching me. Not one of them said a word. They just stared. One even crossed himself as I pulled out of the lot. I brushed it off. Figured they were just superstitious about something. Or maybe they knew something I didn't. But the tension in my gut wouldn't let go. As I hit the highway and the town disappeared behind me, I realized this wasn't going to be a normal haul. The route took me deep into forested back roads. Pine trees crowded the road like silent sentinels, their spindly limbs arching overhead. Fog slithered between their trunks, too thick for a summer night. The further I drove, the more I felt it. That pressure in the air, like the woods were watching. It didn't help that the moon barely pierced the tree canopy. My headlights seemed swallowed whole by the darkness, and my CB had gone silent. No trucker chatter, no static, just dead air. Even the GPS glitched, resetting to a blank screen before rebooting with a route that didn't match the paper map. My instincts told me to turn back, but my wallet told me to keep going. A double-pay job wasn't easy to come by, especially for an independent guy like me. I cranked the volume on the radio and tried to drown out the gnawing unease, but every mile felt longer than the last. That's when I noticed something odd about the trees. They were bending inward slightly, like they were leaning in to listen. Branches arched low enough to scrape the top of my trailer, creating a rhythmic tapping sound that set my teeth on edge. I kept one hand on the wheel and the other near the door. My nerves pulled taut like piano wire. A few miles past midnight, I started hearing whispers. Faint, like wind cutting through the trees, except it wasn't outside. It came from the sleeper cab. At first I thought it was the CB radio acting up, but it was off. Then I thought I was just tired. I rubbed my eyes, popped another caffeine pill, and told myself to focus. But then I heard my name. Rick! Rick! Clear as day. A child's voice, laughing. I turned off the radio completely, pulled over and checked the cab. Empty. Nothing under the seats. Nothing in the back. I even checked the glove box. Back on the road, the whispers started again, more insistent this time. No music or engine noise could drown them out. It was like they were in my head. And they weren't saying nice things. They said, "You shouldn't be here." And then they began to chant my name over and over again. I covered my ears, but it didn't help. The whispers came from within. The wheel trembled in my hands. My breath turned shallow, and my heart pounded like it wanted out of my chest. Just past mile marker 241, I slammed the brakes. There was someone standing at the edge of the road, a man in dirty overalls and a wide-brimmed hat. He didn't move, just stood there, waving slowly. His eyes reflected amber in the dark. As I crept past, he raised a finger to his lips and whispered, "Shh." Then he vanished. I looked in my mirrors, even stepped out of the cab with my flashlight. Nothing, no footprints, no sign anyone had been there. I told myself it was a trick of the fog, or headlights playing games on tired eyes, but deep down I knew better. The road ahead twisted and narrowed. I kept going, but I rolled up the windows and locked the doors. I tried calling someone, anyone, no signal. Just the empty silence of an old forest with secrets. My hands were shaking. I kept one eye on the road and the other on the mirrors, half expecting to see him again. Near Blackwater Creek, the refrigerated unit in the trailer began to scream. Not whine, scream. Metal grinding against metal, like something alive was trapped inside. I pulled over, stepped out with a flashlight, and unlocked the rear doors. Cold fog poured out. Ice clung to the inside walls, even though the temp wasn't set that low. And there, etched into the frost on the wall, were claw marks. 5 long scratches, fresh. I scanned the inside, empty. No boxes, no meat. Just that frigid air and a lingering stench I couldn't place, like old leaves and wet fur. I slammed the doors shut and locked them. Back in the cab, the whispers returned, louder. This time they weren't just whispering. They were mimicking my voice, my thoughts. I should have said no, they echoed, repeating my guilt. My skin prickled. I floored it. It was just after 2 a.m. when I saw her. In the rearview mirror, a girl, maybe 10 years old, pale skin, wet hair clinging to her face, white dress soaked to her knees. She sat in the sleeper, smiling at me. I froze, looked back. Gone. I jumped out, flung the door open, and searched every inch of the cab. Nothing. I even checked under the mattress. Empty. When I turned the truck back on, the dashboard lights flickered. For a second, they spelled out letters, H-E-L-P. Then they reset. I started driving again, gripping the wheel like it was the only thing keeping me anchored to reality. But she returned. Every few minutes, I'd catch a glimpse of her in the mirror. Closer each time. Her smile wider, her eyes darker. The GPS rerouted me down an unpaved service road cutting straight through the forest. I hesitated. The main route was blocked by a fallen tree, so I followed the detour. Trees loomed closer. The road turned to gravel, then to dirt. My wheels kicked up dust, and the shadows seemed to press in. That's when I saw the signs. Wooden stakes hammered into the ground every 100 feet. Each one read the same thing. Don't let them speak. The whispers grew into voices, arguing, crying, begging. I turned off the radio, but the noise was still there. It was like I had tuned into the frequency of the dead. The stakes passed by faster, each one cracked and aged, yet freshly marked. I started praying. I hadn't done that in years. At 3:37 a.m., everything stopped. No whispers, no music, just silence, thick and unnatural. Even the crickets had gone quiet. Then came the knock. 3 soft taps on the passenger window. I turned. The girl was back. Closer this time, face to glass. Her eyes were completely black. She mouthed something. I couldn't hear her. But in the mirror above, I saw something else move behind me. Not her. Something big. Something that didn't belong in any forest. I turned slowly, heart thundering. Nothing. But the seatbelt across my chest tightened by itself, and the air in the cab dropped to freezing. My breath fogged the windshield. Something was in there with me. I floored it. The road twisted like it didn't want me to leave. Shadows moved in the trees. The trailer rocked like something inside was trying to break out. My heart thundered. Then fire. A wall of flames erupted across the road, but the truck didn't stop. It moved like something else was driving. I wasn't in control. The whispers turned into screams. I could feel something crawl across my spine, like cold fingers brushing my skin. My eyes watered. My ears rang. Shapes ran alongside the truck. Some on all fours, some not human at all. We roared through the flames, and for a second, everything turned white. When I pulled into the drop point at dawn, my hands were stiff, my knuckles white. The trailer doors were covered in frost again. A man in a suit met me. No name, no badge, just a clipboard. "You made it," he said. "On time. Most don't." I asked what was in the trailer. He smiled. Silence. They took the trailer and paid in cash. I left that place and never took another back road job again. But sometimes when I'm alone in the cab at night, the radio crackles, and I hear her whisper my name. Rick.